On October the 2nd, 2016, this P51D Mustang, registration G-Mustang, crashed at Hardwick in Norfolk. The passenger was killed and the pilot was seriously injured. In October 2017, the Air Accidents Investigation Branch published the findings of their investigation into the accident in this bulletin. You can download this from the Air Accidents Investigation Branch website. When I read this bulletin, I immediately noticed that there was no correlation between their images of the wreckage and those that had appeared in the media. These are some of the media images. So I began to investigate and work out what was going on. I eventually concluded that all these images in this report are corrupted, falsified, and those in the media. I wrote this report. My name is Mr. P.A. Saunders. My date of birth is 27/12/1966. I would be very wary of anything you read about me on the internet, of its authenticity, because of this information. I have a workshop in Thame. It's on a farm adjacent to Thame Police Station, if you want to come and see me about this. So I wrote this report. It details how all those images are corrupted. It's over 100 pages long, and I sent copies of that report to these people here. To save time, I won't go through them all. They received it before the inquest into the death of the pastor, Mr. John Marshall. They took no action over this report. Since writing this report, a huge amount of new evidence has come to light. I did initially produce some videos which I put on YouTube detailing these corruptions. These are them here. I have evidence that my YouTube channel is being blocked. So I'm updating these videos because so much more evidence has come to light. It's important to know that about myself, and when I took this copy of this report to Norfolk Police, attempted to record an allegation of corruption against the Air Accidents Investigation Branch with Norfolk Police, I was obstructed. At that meeting I took evidence to Norfolk Police, and I've recorded that meeting on a dictaphone, of my being a qualified secondary school teacher. My specialist subject is design technology and graphics. My being a former aircraft engineer, I worked in the aviation industry restoring World War II aeroplanes. I was working on a very significant World War II aeroplane with a group of people, restoring to flying condition. I was building the wing and working on fuselage structures and tailplane structures. A very significant World War II aeroplane. I also took to that meeting evidence of my having worked for the United Nations in the role of a security warden. So I'm more than qualified to talk about what I'm going to do now. I have a good background. Very important, the context of all of this. We have the Air Accidents Investigation Branch pictures. We have the media pictures, which are over there. And then at a later date, a video appeared online. It's titled, it's on YouTube, it's titled Norfolk Pilot Recovering After Plane Crash That Killed His Passenger. This video is falsified, and it acts as a rebuttal to all my evidence that I unearthed in the media pictures and the Air Accidents Investigation Branch pictures. But firstly, I'm just going to take you through the Air Accident Investigation Branch bulletin. Now, at the time that I made inquiries at the Air Accidents Investigation Branch for the time of all of the photographs, that's the letter to the AAIB, I asked them for the times that all these photographs have been taken. It was at that time that a lot more images started appearing on the internet, even falsified newspaper articles. Initially on the internet, for a very long time, there were very few pictures of that accident. There was just one of these pictures, this picture, and there was another one which actually showed a building behind, but that's disappeared from the internet now. And then all these other images started appearing. Right, what we do, start with the Air Accidents Investigation Branch picture of the propeller. This is allegedly the propeller from G-Mustang. Now, we'll start by looking at the reduction gear. This is called the reduction gear. If you count the number of what appear to be bolt heads around the periphery there are 20. This is a reduction gear from exactly the same Merlin engine. There are 10 bolts. Those 10 bolts, they're missing from this. This is a wreckage from the Merlin engine for Lancaster. Those bolts bolt this piece here, which is the propeller flange, to the reduction gear. There are 10 bolts that secure it to that reduction gear. But there are 20 in this picture, so it can't be the reduction gear for that reason. The number of teeth on the reduction gear fitted to the Merlin engine on G-Mustang was 44. If you count the number of teeth on here, there are over 50. And you'll see where teeth have been edited in here due to a blurredness. So the reduction gear can't be from that aeroplane. This is a constructed composite image. The reduction gear has been brought into the image. What someone then did was to put a background image on, and then they've created the propeller blades. Now if you look carefully here, you'll see a squiggly black line. What I suspect they do, they've sketched the image, or they've taken it to someone else, they put the transparency over the screen of their computer, and then using a pen on Photoshop they drew the outline of what they wanted to fill in. And what they did was to fill in this blade using a watercolour technique. Now can you see what appear to be dust or scuff marks? Those are not. That is actually the soil underneath. By using a watercolour brush, I'll show you in a minute, you create this translucent effect and it looks like dust. Now I've recreated here a replica of that blade very quickly, not particularly well, but I did it very quickly on very basic software. That's how that image was created. And it's the same with these other propeller blades as well. I'll just show you very quickly how we can do that. Right, that's the blade there. We pick up a colour. You can see here, you can see the squiggly black line here, which is the outline that someone plotted. Then what they did, they just picked up on a colour there, and then just used a watercolour brush, which is that one there. Just got to get the right amount, and you create that effect with dust. Now look at the effect I created, exactly the same effect. If you enlarge this up to pixel size, so you start seeing all the pixels, you're actually seeing the soil underneath. And that's how that image has been created. Another thing I noticed about this propeller, it was torn off the aircraft at spinning at maybe 2,500 odd RPM. It's spun around, it's unbalanced, it's spun around on a recently cultivated field, but there's no scratching to propeller tips. I've never ever seen that before. It's miraculous, isn't it? Now, the other abnormality is this blade was right-hand rotation, as viewed from this face. It's rotating this way. Now you can see that there's damage to the blade root here. Damage like that can only occur in the direction of rotation. Now it's almost as if the person who constructs the image has got confused about the direction of rotation of this propeller. If you look here, someone's edited in here to make that look like the blade root and that this is the front of the propeller blade. So this could be left-hand rotation. This one could be left-hand rotation. Now look here how the soil is built up here. Imagine that air spinning around, slewing to a halt, and the soil building up on the leading edge. It would indicate that that's left-hand rotation. Now look here, you have this floating dust in the picture here. That's been edited in as well. Most of the scuff marks you would expect to be perpendicular to the arc of the propeller. So it's unusual that they are where they are. Now you also have to remember, this would have been torn off the engine, it had been covered in oil, it had been flinging oil everywhere. It's dry. There is no oil on any of that, and it hasn't picked up any dirt or grime. You can also see where the field's been edited in here. Now the other thing, which I'm going to talk about in the next video because I'm just about to run out, is this propeller spinner backplate detail.